I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on two missing siblings, Michael and Pamela Mayfield. This is an old case. They went missing January the 10th, 1985, on their way home from school. Okay, so let's talk about it. January 10th, 1985, Michael and Pamela Mayfield. Michael was 6 and Pamela was 5 at the time that they went missing. That particular day, they were staying with their grandmother. Okay, during that period, they were staying with their maternal grandmother. Okay, Michael and Pamela Mayfield were born to Cynthia and Michael Gant. However, the kids have the mother's maiden name because Cynthia and Michael were not married. However, they did see their kids on the regular, although the kids were staying with Cynthia's mother in Houston, Texas. Okay, so both children were enrolled in Betsy Ross Elementary School and they were in kindergarten. Michael, however, got left back because it was saying that he wasn't mature enough to go to the next level. He needed more work. Oh, January 10th, 1985, they both walked to school. On the way home, it was said that they stopped at a playground. Now, the school was only about 10 minutes away from the house. It was said that they stopped at a playground and they were seen playing by eyewitnesses. Also, the eyewitnesses stated that they saw the children get into a green vehicle. Some stated that it was a green car and some stated that it was a green van. However, all eyewitness accounts were green accounts. So we're going to follow that color green, okay, because I can get information from colors. Taurus energy rules green colors. So we're going to follow Taurus too during this investigation. Taurus is the color green when it comes to colors. Taurus is also the energy that I'm going to follow up on this vehicle, whether it was a car or a van. I can find it through Taurus energy because Taurus energy is the energy of material possessions. When it comes to material, Taurus represents the car, the house, the diamonds, the gold, material possessions, shoes, clothes, shirts, pants, all of that. Taurus energy. So, we're going to look for this green. Put this over here. So they were never seen again after they got into this green vehicle. Now, it was confirmed that both children were educated on stranger danger. So they most likely knew who picked them up. Okay? There was no struggle. Nobody didn't get out and snatch them up and the kids were screaming all that because everybody would have seen that. There were no struggle. The kids willingly got into that vehicle. So they knew who that driver was. Eyewitnesses stated it was a man. That's all they stated. They didn't know the race of the man. They didn't know what the man was wearing or none of that, but they knew it was a man. 4 months later, an unknown caller called in stating that the kids are fine and they're with their paternal grandmother, the father's mother. And that was it. When law enforcement asked the unknown caller, how do you know all of this? The guy just stated, I know. And he hung up. That was it. They said he sounded like an older African American gentleman. But when they followed up, they said that the kids were staying somewhere in Los Angeles, California. So law enforcement did follow up on the paternal side of the family, as well as the maternal side of the family. And everybody passed their polygraph tests. So the kids are still missing. Today is September 18th, 2025. And the kids are still missing. So I have the planetary alignments in front of me. of Michael, the day he was born, June 6, 1978. I have where the planets were when Michael was born. I have where the planets were when Pamela was born, July the 10th, 1979. And I have the planetary alignments of when they were abducted by this green vehicle, January 10th, 1985. Let's talk about it. So let's pull Michael's alignment. June 6, 1978. Michael's sun was in Gemini and the moon was in Gemini. So Michael was a new moon baby. A new moon baby is when the sun and the moon are both in the same sign. So that sign is amplified in that child. New moon children are very popular, very brave. They have an energy that is very mature, whatever energy that is. So Michael's energy was Gemini energy. So his Gemini energy was very mature, especially when it came to local travels, going outside, just embracing the local environment, because Gemini energy rules the mind. It rules the intellect. And it rules the local environment. It rules local travel. So I'm quite sure Michael was the type of child, he loved to go outside. Okay, nothing outside made him afraid because he knew how to embrace it all. Okay, I'm quite sure he was very versatile, very witty. Okay, so let's pull that new moon chart. Okay, y'all know how I formulate time. Time is the sun divided by moon cycles. So when Gemini moon is in Gemini's house, Gemini is the third house. So that means Aries is rising. Gemini right there in its own house, the third house. All of the signs and energies are in their own house. So let's pull Pamela's chart. Pamela was born July the 10th, 1979. Pamela's sun was in Cancer and her moon was in Capricorn. So when you put a Capricorn moon inside of Cancer's house, which is the fourth house, Libra is rising. Libra is rising. I could automatically see that both these children were like two flip sides of the same coin, because the first house, which is Michael's chart, and the seventh house, which is Pamela's chart, the first house and the seventh house are exact opposites. You see, the first house and the seventh house are always opposite houses on every chart wheel. Those are opposite signs. That's why I know these two already were two opposite sides of the same coin. So let's pull the chart and let's see what's going to come first the day that both of these children disappear. Then we're going to get into their charts and connect the dots using the energy. So they both disappeared and was abducted by this green vehicle on January the 10th, 1985. The sun was in Capricorn and the moon was in Leo. Now, before I even pull the chart, Capricorn, the sun in Capricorn is the father energy. The moon in Leo is the children energy. Okay? I'm just putting that out there. Capricorn and Leo together represent the father of the children. I'm just saying. Let's pull this chart to see what comes first. When the Leo moon is in Capricorn's house, which is the 10th house, Scorpio is rising. Scorpio is an 8th house chart. Scorpio is an 8th house chart. The 8th house is the chart of death. I always look in the 8th house of every chart that's pulled to see if I can connect the dots that will let me know whether these children are alive or the person that I'm doing the reading on is alive or whether they're dead. Okay? Now, look in the 8th house of this chart. This is an 8th house chart because Scorpio comes first. Scorpio is the 8th sign of the zodiac. It is the 8th energy of existence. Okay? Scorpio energy in the 8th house represents transition. When it comes to a missing persons case, or even homicide or murder, or a killing, the 8th house will always show a prominent sign. And look what sign is prominent in the 8th house. Gemini, the local environment. Michael was a Gemini. He is a new moon baby. Okay? Now, Gemini is there. Gemini is also the local environment, which is where they was abducted. So if the children are dead, the 8th house will let me know where it most likely took place at. So they were abducted in the local environment. If you look in Gemini's house, remember Gemini's the 3rd house. Look what's in the 3rd house. Capricorn. That's where the sun was. I already see that the father has something to do with their disappearance. The father has something to do with their disappearance. Or somebody that knows the father. Capricorn is always the father figure. Okay? Capricorn is always the father figure. Okay? Now, look at Taurus energy, where I told you we're going to follow this green car. Taurus, this green vehicle, is in the house of marriage. It is in the house of the significant other. Okay? So, could this have been the father's mother? Because look in the house of grandparents, the 9th house. You will see Cancer. You will see Cancer energy. Cancer energy is the energy of the grandmother. This is the grandmother right here. And the Cancer rules the moon. The moon rules Cancer. And the moon, this particular day, was in Leo, the 10th house. This is the father's house. The opposite is the mother, the 4th house. The 10th house is the father's house. So, the father's mother, Leo represents the children. Remember I told you, Leo is the energy of children. The children's father's mother has everything to do with knowing what happened with these children, because the father was right there in the local environment, or the person linked to the father was right there in the local environment where those kids was abducted from. And most likely, they are not alive. Now, being that Scorpio comes first, let's follow Pluto. Pluto rules Scorpio. Now, Michael's Pluto is in Libra. Look all the way at the bottom line. Michael's Pluto is in Libra, right here hiding in the 12th house. Pamela's Pluto is also in Libra, right here in the 12th house. And the day they got abducted, Pluto was actually in its own energy, right here. The abductor and the killer is the person that's in a relationship with one of their parents. Libra is the energy of relationship. Libra rules the 7th house, but it's in the 12th house because this individual was hiding. The 12th house is the house of the hidden. Now look inside of the Libra's house to see where they were hiding at. And you will see the green vehicle. You can't make this shit up. Do you see the green vehicle is inside of Libra's house? This is where the person was hiding. Was in the green vehicle. Now let's follow Venus because Venus rules both Libra and Taurus. Libra rules the relationship marital aspect of Venus rules the relationship and marital aspect of Libra, and it rules the material, monetary, physical possessions of Taurus. Venus, Michael's Venus was in Cancer, right here, the grandmother. Pamela's Venus was also in Cancer. The paternal grandmother, this is the father's house, where the kids are. The paternal grandmother. Make sure y'all are utilizing my tutorial in the link below. It's called Astro Oracle Tutorial. Excuse me, it is a video. It is a timestamp video where you're able to click on any sign that you hear me talk about, any house number that you hear me talk about, or any planet. So that way you will understand. I give you a general meaning of what that sign or that house number or that planet is talking about. I go down a whole list of things and energies that are attributed to these particular signs, to each sign, each planet, and each house number. So that way when you hear me talk or point to something, you will see how I'm formulating my story. So you can see for yourself. You can't make this shit up. So Venus, the day the kids got abducted, was in Pisces. The 12th house is Pisces' house. And look where Pisces is at, in the house of children. The person hiding that abducted the children is right here, hiding. It is the father, somebody in a relationship with the father's side of the family. If it was not the father's side is responsible. Clearly, this is the paternal side of their family. Now, let's pull a chart from the ether. Let's pull a chart from the ether. Michael and Pamela, tell us what happened. I don't believe they are no longer with us. I don't believe they're with us. Michael and Pamela, what happened? Before I pull this chart, I just also noticed something too. Look in the 8th house. Because being that the 8th house is the chart that came out while they were abducted, the day they were abducted, look what's in Michael's 8th house. Scorpio. That's what comes first, the day they got abducted. The killer and the abductor. And look what's in Pamela's 8th house of death. Taurus. The green vehicle. Michael and Pamela both knew who was in that green car. Michael seen the person first. And Michael knew it was okay to get in that vehicle. They both knew who they were getting. You can't make this up. This is going to be another short reading. You can't make this up. Energy does not lie. All right. Michael and Pamela. What happened? If this is your grandparents that abducted you, what happened? Where are y'all? Pull a chart. Show up in a chart that will let us know what happened. This reading will find somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows your family, who will bring justice to this case. The father, look at that. The father in the 11th house. The father in the 11th house. The 11th house is Aquarius's house. That is the house of groups, gangs, organizations. And when it comes to families, families is a group. The 11th house represents the father's family. When Capricorn is in the 11th house, guess what comes first? Pisces, the hidden one, the one who was hiding, the power behind the throne of all of this activity. Pisces. And if it wasn't the father that was in that car, it was somebody who knows the father. Because the 11th house is Aquarius's house. That represents the group, the friend. And the friend is in the 12th house. This is a 12th house chart. Look at Aquarius. But the 12th house is the 12th house chart because Pisces comes first. And Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. So first, let's follow this hidden individual. Aquarius. Okay? So, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. And Uranus, the day they was abducted, was in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is right here in the father's house. Sagittarius's energy is the grandparent. Sagittarius rules the 9th house. You see Sagittarius right there in red in the 9th house? Because everything you see in red represents whose house it is. Everything you see in black represents who's actually there. Look who's there in Sagittarius's house, the 9th house. The grandparent. That came first the day they disappeared. That's who was driving the green car. Saturn rules Capricorn. Let's follow this father figure. Saturn, the day they got abducted, was in Scorpio. Right here. Saturn was right here. Yeah. That the father side of the family is responsible for their disappearance. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Now, let's find their bodies. Lost and found. Michael and Pamela, where are your bodies? Michael and Pamela Mayfield, where are your bodies? Where are your bodies? Where are your bodies, Michael and Pamela Mayfield? Fire and destruction in the 2nd house. They were either shot and killed or they were set on fire. In the 2nd house. The 2nd house is Taurus's house. Every chart that you look at, you will see Taurus in the 2nd house because that's Taurus's house. Taurus. 2nd house, Taurus. 2nd house, Taurus. That's Taurus's house. Taurus is actually there in Michael's chart because Taurus is the green car. Taurus is the green car. If they are dead, which I know they are, they were set on fire in that car. That car is gone. They will not find that vehicle. And when they find it, they will find it burnt and destroyed. Fire and destruction in Taurus's house. The car, which represents Taurus, has been set on fire, destroyed, along with them children in that car. Energy does not lie. In the 8th house, which is the chart that came out, this is the day they were abducted. Look what's in the 2nd house. The grandparents' car. The car that's affiliated with the grandparent. Somehow the grandparent has a connection to that car. They know who car that was. They burnt it. Jupiter, which is the planet that rules Sagittarius. On the day they were abducted, Jupiter was in Capricorn, right here, the father. In Pamela's chart, look what's in the 2nd house. Scorpio, the person who abducted them. The person who also killed them. Fire and destruction. Can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Who? I feel like we already know who. Who can we reach out to today that is alive and well, that knows what happened? Who can we reach out to today, Pamela and Michael? Today is September 18th, 2025. Show me who we can reach out to today. Show us, the onlookers, and somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that will find this reading. Show us who we need to reach out to today that knows what happened to y'all, so we can bring justice to your mother, your parents. An accomplice in the 3rd house. Somebody in that local environment. I knew that 3rd house was going to come out. Somebody was going to come out in that 3rd house. In that 3rd house, somebody was going to come out. In that 3rd house, this is Pamela's chart. Got Sagittarius, that's the grandparent energy. In the 3rd house, you got Michael's energy. He's a Gemini. His sun and his moon was there. This is the local environment. Somebody in that local environment. This is the chart that was pulled from the ether. And in the 3rd house, you got that green car. And in the chart of the abduction, the day they got abducted, the 3rd house, which you see, the father. The accomplice. In that 3rd house. That vehicle, whoever that vehicle was a part of the plan. It was designed to be destroyed. It was a vehicle that was going to be destroyed. Evidence, and then we're going to end it. Give us some evidence so we can find this vehicle. Evidence where we can find this vehicle. Now, in the etheric chart, the vehicle is in the 3rd house. So it may still be in that local environment. It was burnt and destroyed. Set on fire. Firearm, weapons, and evidence in the grandparents' home. Firearm and weapons evidence in the 9th house is the grandparents' home. The father's side of the family in the grandmother's home. It could be the mother's side of the family, but that father came out prominent. The firearm and weapons evidence is in the grandparents' house, the ninth house. Mm, 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 mm. That's my reading on Michael and Pamela Mayfield. May they rest in peace. Justice will be served. Y'all be blessed.